And welcome back to the week of Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from, K Money, K, the otaku of otakus. I might have gotten that name wrong a little bit. The otaku of otakus. You asked the question, who would win a fight? Shoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia versus Mikoto, name I cannot remember. I think it's Mikoto Souh. Is that his name? Mikoto. Give me 1 second. I'm just getting YouTube up right now. Mikoto Souh? Is that his name? S-U-O? Yeah, Mikoto. I think it's pronounced. It could be pronounced some other way. From K Project. Now, one series I know very well and very versed in My Hero Academia. I think I've seen in passing clips of K-pop Project. I know nothing about this. What the little I do know, it's involving this thing called like the Sword of Damocles, and it bestows the power upon 3 kings of like kind of domains, if you will. And these kings can manipulate their auras in different manifestations. In the case of Mikoto, his is a red aura, which is a fire aura. So I can see kind of why they're paired against each other. Let's go to Todoroki first, because this guy I can pretty much rattle off. Todoroki is the son of the now #1 hero, Endeavor. Endeavor's his mother, I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, has a quirk that's an ice manipulation quirk, whereas Endeavor obviously has a fire manipulation quirk, which results in a quirk known as half hot, half cold, where Todoroki's right side manipulates ice, his left side manipulates fire. Now, we could go into his backstory all day, but really, you don't need that for the backstory normally for this. You just need basically the idea of what his abilities can do. And he can use both of them, not simultaneously, but he can use them back and forth, back and forth. The problem with it is, let's hold off on the problem real quick. The limits of what he's capable of doing so far have yet to actually be really shown. We know he can literally summon a giant, devastating wall of ice within seconds. Like, that was enough to coat the near like a third of the entire tournament stadium when they did the what was the name of the event they did again? It was like the little tournament arc they had in the series. Sports Festival. That was it, the Sports Festival arc. And yeah, he did that in seconds. But using so much of his ice for so long lowers his body temperature. So he needs, after a while, for using his ice to warm himself back up with his fire side. The same goes towards his fire side as well, his left side. Using too much of his flames increases his body temperature. Therefore, he needs his ice to regulate his body temperature. There's a reason he's half and half, because he's in a constant state of fluctuation when using these powers. That's why using them back and forth is probably most advantageous half the time. Pardon? Now, he does have a couple techniques. Nothing like Wall of Flames, Superheated Air, where he uses like ice first and then immediately goes in the flame for like a superheated blast. But he really doesn't have anything that's a true super move per se. There is a technique still yet to be taught to him, I believe, by his dad, Endeavor, which is alluded to in the joint training arc, where Class B and Class A were training to. It's alluded to that he needs to go past his limits with his fire to use like an ultimate move. What I think it probably is Endeavor's, prominence in immolation. Is that what it's called? Essentially, where Endeavor. Let me get Endeavor up here real quick, because that will give me the true name of the technique. Endeavor Todoroki. Let's see here now. The name of his technique. Let's see now. Prominence Burn. That's what's got. Allows him to launch a massive concentrated beam of fire from his entire body that vaporizes his target. I have a feeling it's whatever technique he wants to teach Todoroki. It's something like that. We've seen him use it twice. He's killed 2 Nomus with it. Like, he's literally just incinerated, their heads gone. So Todoroki being around, I think he's 15 or 16. How old's Todoroki again? I think they're 15 still? Shoto Todoroki. 1 second here. Shoto Todoroki. How old's Todoroki again? Or pretty much all of Class A, roughly speaking. Some of them are probably older than others, like by a year. His age is 16. Okay, yeah, all right, that's it. We meet them at 15. We meet them later at 16. Okay, they're all at 16 then. All right, sweet. So yeah, and he can still take a punch. He's still pretty durable. Mikoto has a very odd personality. He's pretty laid back, chill, and doesn't really care about being king. But he's also known to be the most temperamental of the kings. As I said, his abilities revolve around a red aura of flame. Mikoto. Let me get Mikoto back up here real quick. Mikoto Souh. And yeah, see, now this was difficult because I've really never watched this show or read this manga. So I wasn't really aware what these guys are capable of doing. And when I looked at his abilities, like, well, they literally just showed in a panel up here that he struck bullets with his aura. They're not listing that feat down here. So it's kind of, okay, aura is a son of a bitch. Sorry, the site's being a little, is a special power used by members of each of the 7 kings' clans. Or a person depends on which clan they belong to. Fair enough. The auras and preceding aura are silver auras, gold auras, red auras, which is the, his aura, blue auras, green auras, gray auras, and colorless auras. Ooh. Fancy. Being red aura means that, stop moving around so much. Has power over, sorry, he keeps jumping for no reason. It has power over fire, imbibing himself with a red-colored aura, which, when exerted, the aura has a great offensive potential to allow him to attack his enemies. The aura provides of defense as well, able to protect him from the aura attacks of another character, King of Sector 4, and a incredibly powerful combatant. He has a couple attacks like Flame Slash, engulfs his entire left hand with his aura, holds it in the air, then pulls back closer to his face. A wave of the aura is ejected. Is able to horizontally slash through an entire clock tower. Illusion breaking. He's able to effortlessly break through and disintegrate one of Neko's most powerful illusions. That won't mean anything in this fight. But see, that's just the name techniques he has. Why I had to go on YouTube and watch AMVs and stuff and watch some clips. First off, let's talk about the bullet blocking feat real quick. The bullet blocking feat, even though he's using his aura, which is a heat, and it's hard to tell that he's actually using heat. What I think is happening here is, even though it's a red aura, he's heating it. The heat's so hot that you don't see the aura because these bolts basically just hit the aura. It's not that he's summoning the aura that quick and then blocking it. No, the aura is just there. And the bolts are stopping and melting as they hit the aura. So his flame, now Todoroki, as hot as his flames can get, as far as we can tell, even Endeavor isn't immune to a bullet. So we haven't seen him try to block gunfire with his flames yet, as far as I know. So for him because your average bullet are normally made of lead. The melting point of lead is 621.5 degrees. Now let's be clear. That's not instantaneous melting. That's just the point of when it will start to melt. So, to basically, for those bullets to not just stop and just to not only stop but go straight down, that means that his aura has to be at least twice, maybe 3 times as hot as the melting point of lead. And that means you're talking about flames, an aura that at minimum can reach a level of heat somewhere close to 1300 degrees, which we just don't know if Todoroki can get his flames that hot. Here's a great example. What's the melting point of steel? Because this is actually a really good way to compare Todoroki's flames to steel melting point to Mikoto's flames. Now, steel, to be fair, melts at over 1500 degrees. Actually, that's Celsius. 2,750 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me make sure that lead statement wasn't in Celsius. Melting point of lead. Okay, yeah, it was Fahrenheit. Which means, and Todoroki, and the reason I say steel is because he went up against, the guy in Class B whose name I'm forgetting, who's basically Kirishima, but he turns his body into steel. He couldn't melt his body, because his body was steel. He couldn't melt it. He could superheat it, but he couldn't melt it. So his flames can't get that hot. But obviously, there's a big difference between a steel and lead. So it's arguable to say that their flames could be equal, but one big difference with Mikoto is he'll be able to have a consistent aura around him. He's also pretty handy in a hand-to-hand fight, from what I could tell. Very capable of just holding his own, using his flames in conjunction with that, and delivering just giant masses of explosions as well, like a giant wall, like an explosion of flame. Now, I don't know if there's a real level. I saw some videos where he was actually burning himself with his own powers, probably when he got the power initially and he had to get used to it, or maybe he was losing it. I don't know. I don't know the story, unfortunately. And there's another shot of him like turning into this almost like Azura's Wrath type looking character. His skin goes black, his veins glowing veiny, like glowing red veins, and he just explodes. So the durability wise, it doesn't look like he's as durable though, unless he's like augmenting himself with his aura. So the question really is going to be who wins in this fight. Well, if these two met, let's just assume that he's in the My Hero Academia world somehow. He wound up there. And that's how I figure a lot of these fights go down. It's not the My Hero Academia characters that go to them. It's vice versa. So he's kind of wandering around. He gets in the scuffle with some individuals. He kind of blows them away. And then Shoto happens to be there, and he's on a work visa, but the guys aren't his student studies hero isn't there, so he's got to take this guy on. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to bring you in. Yeah, look, I don't want to have to fight you, kid. Just go home. And say, yeah, and then he just makes a wall. And even he's like, huh, that's a new one. And so, hey, kid, what's your name again? It's like, it's Shoto Todoroki. He's like, Mikoto. And then he just melts the ice. Like, so I see. So you've got some sort of fire-based quirk as well. I can do that too. And they blast fire back, which Mikoto's like, wait, what? How? What kind? Where am I exactly? So they are going to be doing a lot of back and forth. Now, unfortunately, I don't think Shoto's flames are going to be able to hurt Mikoto because Mikoto's just wrapped in flames most of the time. Whereas Shoto isn't really heat proof. Yes, he's he can create his own flames, but it's not like, what's the best way to put it? He could still probably hurt himself with his own flames if he wasn't careful. Like, we know for a fact that he can get hurt by hot, like, boiling water because that's where that scar on his face comes from. So it's and even Endeavor could be killed by flames if he's weakened and just not having his powers on. So, and Shoto is not fireproof by really any stretch of the means. He's probably resistant, but he still is not fireproof. So these two would probably be duking out. I liken it a little bit to that fight he had with, again, the Class B character, because while Todoroki's flames might get hotter, it doesn't really matter because because Mikoto can wrap himself in aura. So Mikoto can just charge the flames and get in close for physical combat, which is not Shoto's forte. And even if Shoto tries to encase him with ice, he can just melt the ice, quite frankly. Now, that being said, the giant wall of ice, that might stop him temporarily. But ultimately, Mikoto will probably melt his way out of there and maybe even, do like a slash, do like maybe even a finger blast, and then do a giant explosion. The concussive force alone will probably blow Shoto back, but using his ice, he'd be able to brace himself. Firing off fire again, he's doing his best, but these two are relatively evenly matched in terms of their fire capabilities. I think Mikoto has a couple more abilities we can see in use with the little bit of the anime I've been able to see. Simply because he can use his aura more effectively in combat than Shoto can use his flames. Because his flames, he can only use his left hand. Ice, he can only use his right hand. Mikoto always has his aura wrapped around him. So as soon as he gets in and starts really wailing on Shoto, I think the match pretty much comes a bit to an end there. That being said, Shoto could probably get lucky. As soon as they get in close, Shoto gets pounded on. He could probably point blank some ice right into his gut or something, and probably knock the wind out of him. I fully believe that's a possibility. But I think this guy Mikoto is just going to be a little too much for Shoto to take down. Unfortunately for Shoto, but I mean, that's what I think. I honestly think, even though I don't know a lot about this guy, from what I did see, and knowing the capabilities of Todoroki, I actually got to go with Mikoto on this. This is a weird one, because normally I want to try to give the My Hero guys some credit, but when you actually compare them to, say, I always say, compare them to Marvel, because really, what is My Hero Academia but anime Marvel, like Shonen Jump Marvel Universe, where 80% of the world are mutants. So most of the, like 90% of the My Hero Academia characters really can't compare to even 15% of, or like above 20% of the Marvel characters in terms of actual powers. Like, let's just throw one out right randomly out there. I'm going to just going to get a mildly superpowered individual. And just screw it. Let's throw Wolverine in there. Wolverine would gut the living crap out of the majority of the My Hero Academia characters. The only characters that would really pose a problem to him that I can think of are Aerie just because of the nature of her quirk. Lemillion, if he still had his quirk. Overhaul because of the nature of his quirk. Definitely the nature of his quirk would be problematic. Though I don't know if that's the thing, because of the nature of adamantium, I don't know if Overhaul could disassemble. And same with Tomura. I don't know if they could atomize adamantium because the atomic structure is pretty much like it's indestructible. So I don't know if you could, because literally on the atomic level it is indestructible. So I don't know if their abilities could work on adamantium. Those are interesting ones I could try one day. But yeah, there you go. Like, those are a couple right off the top of my head I could think might be able to do something against Wolverine. But Wolverine would tear through all of Class A. Bakugo would just be, tired. It would just be annoying him. Todoroki, Wolverine. That Todoroki could probably, like, freeze him up and encase him in ice. That's about it. So Todoroki could put him, like, stop him, but not kill him or anything. And I'm using just one individual. And Wolverine is low tier compared to, like, if we're talking S tier characters in terms of power, like the most powerful characters, and go all the way down to, like, the bottom of the alphabet, like, Wolverine at best might be a C tier character compared to, like, he has no energy projections, he's got no reality warping, he's got no manipulation of any kind of magic or anything like that. He's just healing factor, indestructible, razor claws, and feral, like, fighting style. And still he would wreck a lot of My Heroes Academia's crap. I digress, though. Still, I think it is probably Mikoto in this, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superhero, magic, what if, anything I do on this channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.